All right, good morning, Mrs. Omolola Oyewumi. It's nice having you on this my channel, and I'm very happy that we can make this work because I am very sure that you have a lot of things lined up for today. But thank you very much for at least creating this short time for us to learn from you and from our audience to glean from your wealth of experience for them to also achieve their greatness just like you are also achieving yours. So thank you for coming. To start with, I mean, like I usually do on this channel, and it's to kind of ask you to tell us, just to walk us down the memory lane, who is uh, Mrs. Uh, Omolola Oyewumi?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, my name is Omolola Oyewumi, and I am the third child of my parent. I of parent kids of six, and my younger kids are triplets, three boys. So, my mom had uh, decided to have one more child after me, and it came out to be three. So, I made us six. So, um, I grew up in Ibadan, Nigeria, and from when I had my younger ones, things have been like the focus from me shifted to my siblings, which are the three boys, and since then I have learned to be very independent right from when I was very small, since age 3, 4, and by the time I'm 8, 9, I have become entrepreneur. Like started, you know, I went into sales, selling things to earn money for myself. Um, Things were very tight, back then. My parents were, a little bit below um, the average, um, what's it called, average employer right then. So, um, but because it's the value that my parents, gave us as education, and I started learning, math, oral English, just to, because English is not my first language, and I have to for you to get into university, you have to do well in your oral language and do well in all of those things. So I started earning money to go to classes, math class, especially then English class. Then in fact, one of the opportunity that came then was for me to represent my school when I was in, I think, GS3. There's this cowbell competition which I came third, and I was so glad. And by the time I finished my high school, I had the I was the best student. So that's where success started for me, because I saw myself like I can achieve anything that I want to, irrespective of the background, what we went through, and all of those things. So, and that was how the journey started. From there, I went to Federal Polytechnic there to study computer science. Then after that, I went to OAU to study computer engineering. And from there, life happens. I got married. Yeah, I wanted to study abroad for my master's, but every time I want to go, is that I'm pregnant and all of those things. So I kind of like, what, let me focus on family, and then um, then my career. So fast forward to 2016, I had my second child, and I was just like, the next thing for me, I really want to do my master's. And I'm going to touch on that. I know you're going to ask some other questions later, but from there, I was like, this is what I want to do, and I really want to go for it. So many things like finances, like funding, and all of those things were coming my way. I have two kids, I have family, I have my career, and I just wanted to achieve all of those things. But um, we're gonna get into it. But by the grace of God, I was able to, right now where I am now, constantly, I was like having a goal to pursue, and that has, led me to where I am right now.
Wow. Thank you. I mean, I think from what you have said, we kind of have a similar path. I mean, a lot of us that went to school during the time we went to school, our parents just had to scrape whatever to be able to send us to school. So I can relate to that. Now, coming to the US, I know that you shared a story one time, I think, on your platform, that while you are doing your master's, so now I'm talking about your master's, I think you said you were pregnant and then you were doing the program and then you were able to put all of that together and still be able to come out successful. I'm not sure if maybe that is it. So can you touch base on that so we can understand some of the superpower that you used during that period? Because I know it can be a bit challenging when you are going to school, running a family, and then pregnant. So to be able to combine that and then be successful, there must be something you have done. Can you please share with us?
All right, thank you for that. So, just like I said, when I came to US, I had my baby was around 12 months then, and my first child was about 3 years. My husband, everybody, I left them in Nigeria and I came to US to, you know, so I got admission to study computer information system and security
Okay.
in PV, Prairie View A&M University in Texas. So I left them, and that is I can say, the biggest thing that I ever did in my life, because giving up my family for my career, it was really hard because that was the first time I had a baby. Like I still have a baby and leaving everybody coming to US. So when I got to US, I focused on, okay, this is what I want. I wanted to have 4.0. Uh, that was my goal, and I was pursuing it. But things change, plans change, and my kid had to join me, and my husband went back to Nigeria, and I was by myself with 2 kids, and I was doing the program, the master's program. I was doing the graduate assistant work, and all other responsibility in my life. And the summer came, the following year, and my husband came for vacation. And vacation, and I had internship there. So I went to another city, another state for internship and all of those things. And I got pregnant. So, and I still have 1 more year. So pregnancy, I had to drive back from Texas. I have to drive back from Indiana to Texas. And that's about 17 hours straight drive. So it took me 2 days. I was pregnant. It was during early pregnancy then. I just discovered that I was pregnant and I was having this morning sickness. I had my 2 kids in the car and I was driving back to Texas. So, and that was how the journey started with, while I was pregnant, started, and those are when the courses were really hard, do some software work and all of those things. And by myself. And I never knew, because the pregnancy that I had was for a girl. I had 2 boys before, so it was kind of different, difficult. So many things came in, and it came with complications and all of those things. But because my determination was, I want to have a 4 point, eventually I had only had a B, and that B was 97.8.
Wow.
83.8.
Okay.
So like just 1 point something before for me to have A. So, and that was what I graduated with 3.91 with pregnancy. So by the time I'm graduating, I have my baby graduating with 3.91, my kids, and I did well. But how do I go through all of those things? I would say that God helped me, and the friends that became family. I reached out, and that was when I learned to always ask for help. The worst you can tell me is a no, but I for both my academic help, support for the kids. One of my doctor to while we were in school, she really supported me with paying for some of my for my baby's daycare, like my second child. So I got support. God helped me. God sent people to me, but I really doubled down on this is what I want to achieve, and constantly. But it took so many other things away from my life, like my social life and all of those things. I would have loved to travel more. I would have loved to engage in things here and there, but I was only focusing on my academics and my family, and that was how I went through it.
Wow. That is because when you share that story, I think, and I read it, I was like, wow, there must be something special about women. I guess you guys have a superpower to do multiple things. And talking about women, um, I know that I've seen a lot of women. I've met a lot of women. They are my friends, and I see them do a lot of powerful things. You work in the tech industry. I will still touch base on that. But how does it feel to be a woman in tech? Share with us.
Okay. This is very interesting because I don't see any there there shouldn't be, because you're a woman or because you're a man, you should work here or there. Right now in this time and age, we've seen women taking up, the leadership role. We've seen women do even things. So it's not a matter of because it's women or because of this. It's a matter of what do you want what do you want, whoever that is. What do you want? And when you go for it, you're going to get it. So I will say that my own, my take here is I decided, or I decided, let me just, it's a choice, because you choose whatsoever you want to. Either you're a male or you're a female. You choose, and it's a choice. And I look at myself, and during when it comes to when it comes to US and uh, immigration and all of those things, being in tech is just let me say, and I want to be careful here. There are other jobs, right, that you see people doing. And if you don't, like, if you are not like, you've not really gotten your stay here and all of those things, it's going to be challenging. But for you to really get your stay and air, when it comes to tech, then there is that a system, and there is the opportunity when it comes to tech to for you to have your stay and all of those things, because you're coming in, there is more, let me use the right word. So when it comes to tech, there are opportunities for immigrants, for foreign nationals here. And that's what I want to talk about. And now, being a woman, you must be able to, like, okay, we want to add value. You want to create impact. And that is where it comes from. Other jobs, like, okay, nursing and all of those things, yes, you have to go through all of those. But for you coming, tech has for someone being in tech, you have an advantage, you have an opportunity here, and you can be there. So I will say that for me, and I'm just putting my thoughts, I'm trying to like gather myself together here.
Okay.
When it comes for, okay, women, there is always this mindset that it's only men that can write code, it's only men that can do this. And you see them, it's a lot of male counterpart there in that industry, right? But right now we're seeing women too coming in and taking their place and doing all of those things. So I would say it's just a choice. If you
Okay.
determine, if you want to the sky is the limit. Just the
Wow.
sky is the limit. So yeah.
Yeah, I think what I can pick from what you have said right now is that it doesn't really matter either you are a male or female, you can get into tech. It's all about choice. So getting into the tech is not an exclusive opportunity to men, and that women can also get into that space and thrive. Like you are thriving, I'm going to touch base on that. And maybe towards the end of this interview too, I would still like you to talk to a female, a lady, a girl out there, and how they can also pursue their dreams. But not now. I will let you know, because a lot of times we find out that even some parents, African parents, they focus a lot on a male child and neglect a female child, which I think it's not very good, because it doesn't make sense at all, because whatever a guy can do, whatever a male child can do, even a girl child can do much more than that, and they should be given equal opportunities to be successful. Okay, now I have known you for many years. In our days back in Obafemi Awolowo University. I know, and I have been wanting to ask you that question. I think I asked you when we had a conversation the other day. You told me one time when we were in OAU that 24 hours was too much for you, that you had extra hours to spare sometimes. And I think what you are trying to tell me then was the power of time management, power of prioritizing your things, power of planning out your stuff. So I am not surprised that you have achieved the success you have achieved these days. So the question now is this: how have you been able to maintain that kind of lifestyle where you are able to compact a lot of things into your 24 hours? How have you been able to do it?
Well, it's very interesting, because when you were talking back in the days, it's different from now.
Okay.
Like totally different. So many responsibilities now, and and even we are aging. And the reason why I said this is because I was going in that pace. Even last, like December coming into January, still within this short time, I started having high blood pressure. And my doctor was like, you have to really slow things down. You have to take rest. You must do your 7 hours, 8 hours sleep. I'm like, no, and the reason why I said that, because, and I'm still going to go back to it, is because then the energy, we want to achieve so many things. We want to write exams. There are so many certifications. You're always running after reading this. You get your CCNA, get your CCNP, write your PMP, and all of those things. We are constantly, and things change. We got married, we have kids, and we have to help them in their homework. We have to, we do things at church. I'm a minstrel. I sing at church. I write books. I do all of those things, right? But I would say that over the years, what has always helped me is this, and it's still helping me, is in the beginning of every year, every quarter, every month, every week, taking time to write down your goals. This is what I want to achieve. We can't overemphasize that. Goal settings, daily goal settings has always been the game changer. Every time. The day I don't do it, I tell you, I just set my day on autopilot, and I just do things reactively, not proactively, not being intentional. And the result is always different from when I say, you know what, today I'm doing these 3 things, or these are my non-negotiables. 1, 2, 3, I must achieve this thing today, and then other things. And doing that over the years, and it's been proven over and over. And I can tell you, and I wrote a book on that. This is a productivity planner where and it's good. Everybody, should, even you don't have to get the book, but if you get the book, that's fine. But always write your 3 non-negotiables. If you see here, I have my 24 hours, like from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., how my day is going to look. And my three, if you look at it here, my three
Yeah.
go one, go two, go three,
Yeah.
that I must achieve in a day. And of course, affirmations, and if you want, have something like that. So I have my affirmations. So every day. So even if you set it up in the beginning of the year that these are the things I want to achieve, set it at the beginning of quarter, beginning of the year. Every time we want to do something, it's always up here in our head. But when we put it down, write it down, and constantly writing it down, like every day or however you want to do. In fact, it's been proven with the research that even sometimes when you just write down and you don't go back to it, by the time you go back to it, you discover that even some of the things you've written down, you've achieved them. It's just the power of writing, like setting goals, writing goals, right? So I would say that has always been what has helped me. We want to do so many things. We want to achieve so many things. Putting it from head to down, like writing it down, setting it as a goal, following it up, or sometimes when I am overwhelmed, I have so many things I want to do. Laundry, I want to do dishes, I want to do grocery, I want to do all of those things. I'll just write things out. Which one is more important to me? Prioritize. If I to get these two things done, three these things done today, then I am fine. So then that's how I've been right now, transitioning from that time where you have, like you said, a goal of, I want to read 5 hours. I want to be able to write this exam in the next 2 months. I want to be able to write, and because it's constantly like that, we don't have a lot of responsibility back then other than always pursuing something, right? To now we have responsibility. We want to go, all of those things that we want to do, writing it down, even to the extent that I want to go for a vacation. Where are we going? What's our budget? And all of those things, planning things, writing it out, and not just leaving it on your head, but putting it down. It has been the game changer.
Fantastic. I mean, and again, as I'm going to tie both of them together now. You said back then, you mentioned something that is still consistent now, and that is writing what you want to achieve down. So that has not changed. Whether you are in school, you are a wife, you are a corporate person, writing things down is key. And I can allude to that. I can, because I remember my first semester back then in OAU was a good result by some standard. But the following semester, when I started to plan my day, every morning, my results just shot up, and then it was from there, everything became very much more easier for me. So I think planning your day, planning your time, planning your goals, writing them down will never change, because it's one of those systems that guarantees predictable results or predictable success. Thank you so much for that. I mean, I learned that from you, and I've not forgotten that statement. That statement, I was like, how can somebody go the whole day and be saying 24 hours is too much for me? How extra 2 hours? Extra 24 hours was not okay for me. But now later I found that it's just the power of planning and setting out your priorities. Thank you so much. Now, talking about the books you have written, I know you have written two books. Can you touch on each of those books so that our audience can understand what you have in that book and why they need to read books? And this is the reason. I know you to not just be an academic person. I mean, back then you were reading so many other books. So what is the role of reading those books? What has those books done for you? That is number one part of the question. The second part of the question is that you have also written books. Why should people read your books?
Okay. So thank you for that question. There is an adage that said that if you want to hide things from people, put it in a book. Like, and I don't know if I stated it correctly, but there is so many wisdom in a book. There are so many mentors, coaches that we don't have proximity to, like we can't even reach them, but they can reach us through their resources, right? Podcast, books, blog posts, and all of those things, articles. And what has always helped me, even I can tell you, back then, when I'm going to, I grew up in Ibadan, going to Dugbe Alawa and all of those things. Beside the road, you will see all of these guys that will be selling books, and I will save up my money. I'll go and be buying books, even though the books they are not so, when you open them like a couple times, you will see them, split
Great
away.
apart.
But that is how I started. I've been building my library since when I was very small. And if you could see my workspace now, I have my library section them different different topics and themes. But I will tell you that books has helped me. It has really helped me a lot. And I read mostly non-fiction books. I don't do fiction, but just like what I was saying, I read and I can share the resources as well, like
Right.
Harvard Business Reviews, articles, podcasts. Some of those things I just glean knowledge. I'm a avid learner, avid vivid learner or something like that. So I constantly want to consume knowledge because it's liberating. So, and that's why I've always like, okay, and I don't have to, and this one thing about books, you don't have to finish it at a time.
Mm.
Because constantly, but if you finish a book and you get a book, you finish it, is good, you read it over and over. And what I started doing again is get an Audible, and there are some great other ones too, like book summary. I have a couple ones I subscribe for on YouTube, that you can, if you don't have the whole time, you can just like read it, hear the summary and all of those things. These are the things that have really helped me. There was a time I was looking for a book. I can't really remember. I went to our local library here. I searched, I didn't see. And I like, and the same thing. And that was how this first book came, right?
Fantastic.
I was looking for for a planner that has affirmations, and I didn't see. I checked on Amazon, checked on, other books, places on the internet. I will see different ones that have quotes by people, by Einstein, all of those things. You see all of those quotes, but I wanted one that's faith-based,
Mm.
that will, like every day when I open it, uh, um I want to see, and this is not a Bible, whatever. It's just like affirmations.
Okay.
Something to tell me like, okay, this is who I am, this is what I can do, and all of those things. I like affirmations a lot. And when I didn't get, you know what?
Created one.
Let me write one.
So tell me more, tell us more about that book, the first one.
Yeah. So, and that was how I was just like, okay. And I started like, okay, though I have used different ones, different planner journals and all of those things. And I was like, okay, if I take this one, I like this one. I like the power of three. I like this one. There is no affirmation. Hardly will you see any planner that has 24 hours. So that's my own whatever. Like, even when I sleep, I want to record it. Like, I slept 4 hours, I slept 5 hours, I slept 6 hours. So there are some, it's going to be like a space, like you're wasting the space.
Mm.
What will I write between 9 p.m. and 4 p.m.? Is like a lot of space there because it's a planner. And you know what I did? I put it there, and I want to put there that I slept for 7 hours. So
Mm.
it's part of my goal. So when I flip it and I open it, I'm like, okay, oh, this day is 4 hours. I slept this day. So that was how I did the 24 hours. The 24 hours like journal, you write what you want to do. Even
Yeah.
sometimes, as a Christian myself, I want to do video, I want to pray. I can put it there, like between 12 to 2. So there is a space, I can always use that space. So my 24 hours, I want to be able to say, this is what I do. So there is power in that, in recording your 24 hours. Either you were sleeping, either when you want to do anything, it's good that you put it there. Power of three, just like I said, this is just the type of the date, but it's not dated, so you can
Date.
use it anytime you can, And I have, just like I said, I have the Bible verse that is going to help my faith, and I have affirmation that I read to myself during the week, and that is what I did. And when I did it, I was just like, okay, you know what? Let me make it available to people. And this is not like my best, I would tell you this is my first. I wanted to like I've been working with publisher to redo it,
To
have
review.
like a leather and all of those fancy the way you will see like all of this one. This is another kind cool focus. I use it a lot. This is one I've
Fantastic.
used for many years. So I want to make it something like this, right?
Okay.
But I don't want it to be overwhelming. Very simple. Being simple, very if you make it things simple for people, they're going to use it.
Fantastic. Yeah.
This full focus, I can tell you, is an advance. And you have to create time to do this
Okay.
if you really want to use it.
You have to start simple, then you can then advance to.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So, and that is why this is very simple. 3
Fantastic.
goals you want to achieve for the day. How do you want to spend your whole day? You can write it down either
Okay.
before or after, and affirmation. And of course, it has a note, so you can write it. And I just like I said, it's not my best. Like, this is not like best thing that happens since sliced bread. No, but is a very simple tool that I've used and I'm still using. I'm still using it. This is my personal one I'm using, right?
Fantastic. Yeah.
I've been
Oh wow, I
using
can
it
see
like that. So it's my
notes there.
personal one. So I use it. It's not that I just I use it every day. At least I try to use it every day, not every day, but I try because sometimes you forget, sometimes you are very in a hurry but like most times in the week I use it. And just like I said, there's always a difference between when you use it and when you set your day, you are intentional, and when you don't and you just set it on autopilot, you are just doing it. So
Yeah.
that's the first one. I
Okay.
wanted to get a book on affirmation. I wanted to get a planner and a journal on affirmation and being able to set my day, but I didn't find it. That one came too. But the second book that I have, which is my own story, I wrote it down, and it's still a journey. I'm not there yet. So, but how I started, how I overcame all of these fears and all of these things, and I, came into my owning my voice, coming through over removing the mask of the mask of incompetence, the mask of what is this word I wanted to use? There is a word they use like they use like that, but I've been able to like come out and be able to speak, and also how I started my journey, my success, just documenting it. And this is going to be a blessing for people, for some
Fantastic.
people, and that's what I wrote down. And just like I
Fantastic.
said, it's still a journey,
Yeah.
but I've written it out, and it's going to help people, especially women that has kids. You don't have to. You shouldn't. Kids should not be an excuse for you. Your marriage should not be an excuse for you not to achieve your greatness. Your husband must not be an excuse for you not to achieve greatness, right?
Hmm.
I don't have enough money. I wanted to start a business. There's nobody's helping me. All of those, you have to dish them. And you know what? Go for it. Go for what God has created you for.
Hmm.
That purpose, because it might take you a longer time because of some challenges you have, some constraints you have right now, but you're going to get there.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. You know what? One quote that that comes to mind with the power of reading books is somebody said, "You are going to remain the same in 5 years' time the way you are now, except for the people you meet and the books you read." So that means that there is a power of transformation that comes with books. And I can tell you that I read books a lot too. I read books a lot because that is what has helped me to dream big, to be able to pursue my goals and achieve the little success I've been able to record in myself. So thank you so much for that. Now, I'm going to pivot to your career. I guess, you can correct me. Based on my research, I know you have worked in 2 multinational companies in the US. You worked with Cummins, and then you are currently working with Microsoft. What does it take to work and be successful in these companies? I know it can be working in corporate America can be a lot. So what have you been able to do to excel and be successful in these 2 giant companies, the one that you have worked with is Cummins, and the one you are currently working with in Microsoft?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I will say this. everything still boils down to what do you really want?
Mm.
So I will say is God. All of those things is, when you dream and you have your action items, like these are the things I'm gonna do. You put everything in God because there are some things that they are out of your control. There are some things that are in your control. I desire it. I have, my goal and all of those things. I wrote them down. And what I have control over is how I show up,
Mm.
what I want to do, how I get to do the things that will qualify me for those things, because it is made for us, it is made for people. No one is better than anyone, right? But I will say this. When I came into US um and I started my master's program, right there and there from the very first day, when I started asking questions, what does it take? What does it take? How do people, get a job here and all of those things? Right from my very first semester in my program, I registered for different conferences. NSB, NSBE, SWE, Society for Women Engineering, Afrotech. I don't know if Afrotech is then, but there are some other conference that we always go for then. Even when I don't have, I change Naira to dollar to register for those conferences. So it's a lot. I don't have much, but I made sure that I registered for conferences. So there I will go. I don't even have GP. It's my first semester. I don't have GP then. But in my resume, so and one of the things was uh I got favored with when I was looking for a job in the campus, uh the head of department of my faculty, because when I came, I was literally I would dress up in the morning, go to the faculty and start knocking on doors of my professors. Like, I need a job. This is what I've done before. I will put my resume. I have a CV then, not a resume. I have a CV then. I will give it to them. They're like, oh, this is good. You know what? Come back and all of those things. But I went to like head of department. It's a woman. I can't remember her name right now. I knocked on her door and I told her like, and before I came to US, I've already sent emails to most of, because I go to the faculty page, I see their email, I saw their email, I sent that email, but I didn't get any response. But I
Okay.
now went there in person,
Impressive.
giving my CV and like, so this woman just like, okay, you know what, this thing is good, but this is not US standard. And can you go back and, make it like US own? And I didn't even understand, like, this resume, I paid for it, I think I paid for it in Nigeria to make it like, but at least I went back and I went back to her, like, okay, I gave it to her. She said, well, don't worry, I'm going to make a call. And she made a call. She asked me to go to, to what the head of IT in the old school then. So I went to that man. I was like, you know what? We're going to it. Like, what can you do? Like, I have networking background. I started telling him what the CCNA I've done. I started telling all of those things. Like, you're going to be a good asset. And that's how I joined the networking of our school, PV then. So, and I was doing my work. So that began to give me leverage on what is possible. And when you have, and I just like I said, I didn't have a CV then, but I can. Some of the things I've done, I worked in FCMB as a contractor when I was in Nigeria. So all of the things, and I deployed. Not that I didn't deploy, but I gave support for the deployment of Office 365, and all of those things. So
Okay.
those are the things I brought to the table. Like, I can do this. I've done this before, and I showed them. So going to conferences, those are my story. Those are the things I was talking about. Like, I can do this, and I was given that opportunity. And right there, before I even have a GP, I got an internship.
Wow.
I came in August. I have internship position in October.
Wow. Wow.
For the next summer.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
didn't have GP.
That
You
is
understand?
huge.
So it's a matter of, that's why I like, what do you want? I'm intentional. So fast forward, after I had the internship, I went back to Cummins. I did it, and there was just like, you know what? what does it take to work in big tech? I started doing that research. Like my mind was like because when I look at the role, I go to role like I go to career page for this like Facebook. Then they used to call them Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, something, Google, and Microsoft is not even there.
It can be overwhelming.
So when I look at it, like this one, you have to be able to write code, or you have to be able to do all of those things. But I look at it being a security, and what I did was security, right? Cybersecurity, kind of course, information assurance. I really love information assurance a lot. But coming in and I've been in the foreign nationals, most like you have to have security clearance and have all of those things. So you can't even get the job. But what can I get right now? And I started looking at role. I went to LinkedIn. The role that I wanted, 2 roles I wanted at that time. I typed the role and I put Amazon, put Facebook, put Google, put like products manager, whatever at Microsoft. I'll see names and I'll just reach out to them. Out of 20, maybe 2 people will respond. And you know what? I want to have a coffee chat, and that's how I started getting to know what is it like for you, life in the day of a product manager in Amazon was account manager. So in different companies, different. In Google is a TP something. It's a technical account. So it's really different, like technical manager or something. So that was what I was doing. So it took me about 6 months before I said, okay, this is what I wanted to do. And that took me another like 6 months again for me to get to be interview ready. And like, okay, but in between I was doing interviews, I was doing all of those things. When I do one, I was like, oh, with this one I really did great. But they would come back and like, you know what, we are sorry, we are going with another candidate. And that alone demoralizes me, right? Because I have put into this, I put into this interview, I've done really great, and we come back with we are going with another, irrespective of the reasons. But at a point, it was up to like 8 months, and I was like, something is not right. Because I keep getting interviews, I will get interview, but I bump it. I get interview, I bump it. I get interview, I bump it. They're like, what can I do? So I saw someone online. She's ex Google, Microsoft, Amazon recruiter, and I chat her up. And when I heard our fee, like how much you'll be collecting, I almost waited, like, is that possible? Wow. Then that was 2001 or so. Then she was collecting $6,000.
Wow.
And I was like, I can't pay that much. What is that? I just want us to do interview. I used some of our resources. I went to do an interview again. Like, no. So, but I went back to her, and she like, just be interviewed, the way you respond, the way you craft your story, and all of those things, and that was what I did eventually, right? So I went through it, a 90 days program. I went through it. I get, even salary negotiation and all of those things. It's a skill. Interviewing is a skill. So I saw the gap, and I like, okay, I'm willing to invest into it to become better. And that was how I did it. But it was a journey. So I would say that first thing I did was, and just wrapping this up, first thing I did was, what role am I looking for? What role do I think I can do? What qualification did I have? Some of the qualification that, okay, right now I zero into 2 roles I want to pursue. Do I have the qualification? Because I will go to their career page, look at the requirements, and look at the preferred requirement. When I didn't see any, I was like, you know what, let me go get this requirement. And I was focusing on the preferred requirement, because there are thousands of people that's going to have this qualification, but what is going to separate me from this other person? And that I was doing that reverse engineering of getting what other people will not get, going for it, right? So I got the role that I wanted, pursue the qualifications. Then, and when I got the role, I reached out to people. I listened to them, how it is, where I can work, because if not even all those tech companies that I can work in, I have values. And if their value, the culture,
doesn't match with you,
it doesn't match mine, I won't work there. Forget about the money. So those are some of the things. And when I say, okay, I zeroed down into 5 companies, and that was the only company I was applying to, focusing, sometimes 20 in a day, pumping. So you have to be intentional, just like what I've said. I have the particular companies I wanted to work with. I was applying it into it. I was, some will get interviews, some will don't, but I keep on doing it. And all of this took like about a year.
Wow.
Before all of those things. So it's a matter of patience. Get the skill that you need. If you see any gap, go fill that gap, and don't be don't be in a hurry, right? So those are some of the things. So when I did all of those, the last 2 interviews I got in, like these 2, Amazon and Microsoft, I was like, I'm going to kill it because I already know this. I already know what's here. But I went there with confidence, and like, and I was able to like, okay, deliver to the glory of God,
Wow,
not my,
great.
right? And that was how I like, okay, I think I like Microsoft culture better. So I went for to the Microsoft,
Wow.
but it has been,
That's a good story. I mean, one of the things that jumped out to me in your story is the power of, number one, preparation, preparing for the opportunities and not waiting for the opportunities to come to you before you prepare. Number 2, persistence, persistently pursuing your goals. And then number 3 is reaching out to people that have gone ahead of the journey you are about to embark on. And those things have come together to help you. Thank you so much. I have 2 more questions before I allow you to go. I know you have other things to do. It's a weekend. And the first question is going to be, I would like you to just answer them very quickly so that I don't keep you longer. Number 1 is going to be, given the number of successes you have recorded from Nigeria to America in every area of your life, if you are given opportunity, are there something you will have done differently? What would that be?
wow, that's a good one. So what I would have done more is, number 1, networking, relationship. That alone, of course, God in everything first.
Yeah.
Right? But I would have invested more in relationship.
Okay.
I would have invested more in networking, because that's a game changer, and it's still.
Fantastic.
So even right now in my current my current role as a product manager, we are the glue for the engineers, the service engineers, the developers, and all of those things. And you are building that currency. And by the time opportunities open up, or they are naming your name at the back, behind the closed door, the relationship you've built, the people you've built what's this? The people you've built the relationship with, the people you've invested in, the people you've helped, you support, the people that you've poured out of, they've poured into you, and all of those things, they will be the one to speak for you when you are not.
Fantastic.
Right? So even if you have that head knowledge, you have all of those things, if there is nobody, talking about you well, or giving you that opportunity, or opening that door for you, you're not going nowhere. So that's number 1 thing I would have done better. Like, I would have really, really, really invested in relationship. Then the second thing is to read more.
Wow. Okay.
All of those time wasting, gossiping, doing all of those things, either you like it or not, even right now, there are some times that we waste that would have been using to do other better things, or to read more, and all of those things. So those are the 2 things that I know that if I've been given another opportunity.
Fantastic. So now, lastly, if okay, I think you have answered this other question. So I will just say, okay, what will be your parting word to the audience, especially people of African descent? What will be your parting word for them? There might be somebody who is a younger Omolola in Nigeria a younger Omolola in Zambia, a younger Omolola in Ghana or in South Africa that would be watching this broadcast and they'll be thinking, yeah, I want to be like Omolola someday. What would be your parting word for such person?
Yeah, so I would say that, just like I've said, invest in developing yourself. That's I kind of emphasize. And part of the development is reading, going to an event, networking event is good. Webinars, and in fact, most of them you don't have to travel. You have them online. You can do them. So invest, keep investing in yourself.
Okay.
Getting that knowledge. That's the first thing. The second thing is be intentional on how you show up. Showing up constantly with your A game, because you never know who is watching, who is looking at you, who is like really interested in you for any business or career opportunities, or even, you know, it doesn't have to be business all the time. There are some things that because you know somebody, you will use your relationship currency to open doors for other people.
Yeah.
So it's not always constantly about me, myself, but what about people, other people, right? So younger generation coming, we have kids now.
Yeah.
You know, the kids are, and they're this generation coming. So what I would say is invest in relationship, invest in yourself, keep reading, and of course keep pouring out, keep giving to people. So as you are doing that, and this is one thing that I am trying to do as well right now, is to start to give back. And I've been doing that, but it's not enough. Giving back is part of what you've learned. Begin to teach other people, either through any medium, right? Through this, look at what we are doing now.
Yeah.
Talking to people, might be through Instagram, through LinkedIn, learning and all of those things. So those are the three things: invest in yourself, invest in your relationship, and start giving back. No matter how, there is the knowledge, you might think is very small, but some other people don't know it.
Exactly.
Some other people are there that if you share with them, you can encourage them, you can even help them spark their own brilliance, right? And let them begin to do so. Those are the things. Giving back is very, very important. And that's what I would say. If my younger self, I really want to start to, give back.
Wow. Wow. This is very interesting. I would have loved for us to continue this interview, but I think at this point we might have to put a pause to it. And then I want to thank you so much, Omolola, for your time, for sharing from your hearts to our audience, for sharing your story of success and how you have been able to move from Ibadan to living in the United States and fulfilling your dreams. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.